allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. So glad you could join us. As with every meeting, almost every meeting, our first order of business is Student of the Month.
Good morning, or afternoon, or evening. Whatever you're celebrating tonight. I'm going to go with evening. That being said, this is our favorite time of the night when we celebrate our Students of the Month. So our principals will come up and give a short building report and celebrate these great young people here tonight. When you're done, we just ask, Mrs. Garland to be taking pictures of your Student of the Month by themselves, with the family, and also with their principal and whoever else you would like in the picture. So please stay around. At the end, Mrs. Garland will take over and on all the pictures. So congratulations and welcome to our board meeting. We'll begin our night. We're going to start at the top tonight with our high school and Mr. Carr.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. We will. I'll just touch base and just do the quick report on a handful of things and a handful of events, and get to Student of the Month. So the first thing I want to talk about just briefly is horizon testing. In one of the last board meetings, when we were all together, we presented data. And high school was kind of lack thereof as we were in the kind of the throes of starting a new assessment. And I'm excited to say that we are nearly wrapping up the last week of that assessment. So kind of almost like the election, I'm kind of watching the results come in as they go. So it's pretty cool to be able to have that kind of data for the 9th through 11th grade at the high school. And as early as Friday, I will be meeting with department chairs to begin setting second 9-week goals around the data and around a couple other metrics per department. So pretty excited about that. On the event front, homecoming was overwhelmingly a success. The homecoming dance was a great time. We had right around 500 students in the Aux Gym, which is 200 more kids than that was our record in the last maybe 5 or 6 years. So very excited about that. Kids did an absolutely amazing time. I couldn't have written a better evening. Everybody pitched in, and it was just a great time overall. Some handful of upcoming events. Trunk or Treat. It's going to happen on October 27th. So inviting everyone to come out on the 27th. We're going to do things a little bit differently this year than we did last year. We didn't anticipate the turnout that we received last year, so this year we are actually moving it into or inside of the high school. And that should help us kind of not navigate weather or any potential hazards, backing up to KFC, things like that. So we encourage, if you have any groups that you want to come out and set up a table and help pass out candy, that would be great. It's a great time to see all the kids. District Dr. Hammock, yes. And I don't know if you.
We can make this public right now.
I don't know if you care to share your theme or not.
One of the wonderful parts of the trunk or treat is that for every car or trunk that is decorated, and there's a theme, and there is a competition for that theme, and that's what the adults do, right? And so the administration office has laid down the gauntlet that we are going to win this year, and we're going to win big, and we cannot wait to see the young ones, but really it's all about us.
She's been very tight-lipped on the theme, so I was hoping I could pressure her in a public forum.
Yep, we are not. Board members, we could find a role for you. I'm very serious when I say that, yes.
We will be, Ms. Carrie Wood has begun the candy collection process. Last year we had, it was second grade at Central that brought in. About 300 pounds of candy they brought in, and it was just overall a great time. So we're definitely looking forward to that again. Students in Andy Bush's drama class will begin running Footloose beginning November 3rd through 5th, so come on out for that. On the athletic front, we have Mr. Chase Alford's competing in the tennis sectional this evening at Center Grove. Our girls soccer team is in a sectional match at Rushville this evening as well. Shout out to Mr. Garrett Daniel for driving the girls goes out to Rushville today. And then Beech Grove High School also hosts boys soccer sectional. We had 2 games yesterday, 2 games tomorrow with the Hornets taking on Speedway at 7 p.m., which is a great transition to our Student of the Month, which is Miss Lily Jansen, who is not here this evening because she was tasked with the choice of showing up here, being the goalie in the game this evening in Rushville.
Wow.
There we go.
And she begrudgingly chose the game in Rushville. But I would like to read what was said about her. So it says, Lily always shows up to practice and games with a fantastic attitude. She's a role model for the school and for her teammates. She works hard to maintain good grades and attendance. Thank you, Lily, for making my job as a soccer coach enjoyable. One of her teachers said, Lily always has a positive attitude and a smile on her face. She's the type of person BGHS strives to send out into the world after graduation. She works hard both on and off the soccer field and serves as a constant role model for her peers. So, wish she could have been here tonight because you would just love her. She's great. But again, she's hopefully stopping lots of kicks this evening in Rushville.
Athletic update for you. Chase had an absolutely amazing season, but he fell short at Decatur tonight.
He's a great kid.
Yeah.
Number 1 in our hearts.
But we're proud of him anyway.
Well, thank you, Mr. Carn. I'm super excited about Trunk or Treat because I get to have hair as part of this thing.
Now,
I'm not getting older. It's been about 30 years. So, just finishing college back when I was so next, more important things, Mr. Morgan from Beech Grove Middle School.
Good evening, and thank you for being here with us tonight. Quick update from the middle school. I think overall there's just kind of a good buzz going on right now. Culture's really good. And kind of thank you to our administration staff for helping with that. We got to experience a sting this morning, which was really great. And it's just been overall really good for our teachers. So thank you for that. And we're trying to kind of carry that on as well with some of the things that we're trying to do. So tomorrow we have our parent-teacher conferences. We're going to have a cookout for our teachers. Some conferences are from 4 to 7. We also went to JobSpark on September 21st, which was a great experience. I would love for board members if you guys would like to go next year.
Sure.
It is an awesome experience for our kids. I will tell you, I was really proud of how our kids handled things because there was over 2,500 students there. Did get a little chaotic for a while, but our kids were super well behaved and did a great job. Overall, really good experience for them. Our Junior National Honor Society is going over every Wednesday to Central Elementary to help mentor students and read. So that has been awesome. Again, kind of building on that culture. And they have also raised over $600 for Servant's Heart. So thank you for accepting our fundraiser request for our Discover Indie books because we were able to sell about 60 of those and raise over $600. So really appreciate that. Again, going to the culture of our building right now, our volleyball team, I was super proud of them. They really kind of just stood out with just how they go about their day in and day out piece of work. They do a great job of cheering on their teammates, and that was a big credit to our coaches there. One of the things that they did at the end of the season was they reached out to our staff, and we ended up having probably about 15 staff members that got to play volleyball against our team, which was kind of a first for me. But it was an awesome time, and I think our kids really liked it, and our teachers enjoyed it as well. On October 27th, Blue from the Indianapolis Colts will be at Beech Grove Middle School. So I will get that message out to you, Mitzi, as well. But October 27th, he's going to come. He did a presentation about 3 years ago for us pre-COVID. It was amazing. They're going to come back again. It's an anti-bullying, choose love presentation. So we're really excited about that as well. On the 28th, so we'll have a busy week when we come back. The 28th, we're going to have a staff social at Southeast Way Park, again, trying to build that culture. So we've rented an awning there, and going to have some hay rides and different things like that. So board members, feel free to show up if you'd like that evening. So that's
When is
going to
it?
be from 5
When
to
is
10.
the ride? When is
5
the
to 10
ride?
at Southeast Way Park,
What day?
the 28th.
28.
Another thing that I don't want to miss out on, because actually our Student of the Month got to enjoy this as well. So Mr. Mann has put together a monthly ice cream social for our kids, and this is purely nominated by teachers. So again, another way that we get to recognize kids. So there's a ice cream shop right off of Albany Street around the roundabout. It's called the Sweet Shop there. So we take about 5 to 10 kids there every month. Treat them to an ice cream, just kind of get to hang out for a little bit, which is a perfect transition to our mint chocolate chip lover, Carly. Go ahead and come on up, Carly Whiteman, our Student of the Month. Good. So, Carly is an amazing student, obviously. Had messages from 4 teachers here and probably could have gone back to 7th grade teachers and would have had many, many more as well. But Mr. Lamar said about Carly, Carly is a very studious and serious about her education. She stands out as an advanced learner and is determined to always do her best. In science, I can see her brain working, and that processing is amazing to witness. Physics is not easy, but Carly does not miss a beat and meets all of the challenges of a difficult topic. I look forward to seeing her tackle chemistry and especially all of the great things that she will do in high school and beyond. Mrs. Vance says, Carly is a very kind and thoughtful student. I enjoy having her in class, but also just seeing her in the hallways. Carly has helped multiple times in the concession stands for home sporting events and is always willing to help any teacher. I can't wait to see the places Carly will go. Mrs. Sutton says, Carly is an amazing human. I just adore having her in class. She's one of those students I could teach all day. She is kind, thoughtful, polite, and above all else, eager and willing to try new things, even if they are at first seem difficult. She approaches each project with creativity and thoughtfulness and always puts in 100+%. Her work stands above the rest in its approach and completion. I thoroughly enjoy having her and watching her mind at work. Truly inspiring. From Mrs. Eckstein, Carly radiates positive energy wherever she goes. She has the unique ability to bring a smile to the faces of all she encounters. Carly is a natural leader and an honor roll student participating in multiple sports, clubs, and National Junior Honor Society. She is always willing to volunteer to help teachers and her classmates. Carly's work ethic and compassion for others will lead to success throughout her future. She is a model Hornet. Congratulations, Carly.
Thank you, Mr. Morgan, and congratulations, Carly. Next on our agenda is Mrs. Fleming from South Grove Intermediate.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. As part of growing Happy Healthy Hornets at South Grove, we too have done some fun things with culture. It included about 50 folks from our staff and their families coming to the Fall Festival at the Fleming's house on the same night as the Fall Festival down on Main Street. We had a lot of fun with that. That led into preparations for a guest presenter that we had from Sports World Inc., Tom Gillis, who was a professional former snowboarder, and he spoke to the students about the importance of perseverance and grit, but also the importance of making positive, healthy choices in life, and the results of that he's seen in his own life. We just celebrated College Go Week, and so students learned not only about options post-secondary that involve college and universities, but also military and vocational trades. So that was really fun to see them get excited about that. And then right now, conferences are taking place at South Grove throughout the week. So we allow teachers to plan those conferences Monday through Friday as it fits with family schedules. As for the academics at South Grove, our teachers continue to use their student data to make instructional decisions about teaching and learning, especially as they plan their small guided groups in both math and reading. We're utilizing the iReady Standards Mastery Assessments as benchmark data to keep a steady pulse on the growth and achievement of our students in both content areas as well. Our grade 6 students are currently running their own conferences with parents and teachers. Feedback thus far from both students and parents as well as teachers has been very promising, and we hope that parents complete a survey we put together to help us plan for the second semester of our I Succeed course that we began this year. As for professional development, we're wrapping up our cluster cycle on the instructional rubric that is new for us this year, or revised from previous years. And we'll do that soon after fall break. From there, we'll begin a new cycle that is focused on student ownership. In preparation for that, our instructional leadership team has been reading a book entitled Developing Student Ownership, which essentially emphasizes meaningful ways to support students to own their learning throughout the use of specific strategic learning practices. Our work is going to then guide the work that we do with the entire staff in the building around student ownership in the coming months. Like my colleagues throughout the district, we are participating in the first round of announced observations with teachers, so some really good feedback and coaching and mentoring is taking place, I'm sure, in all of our buildings. As for extracurriculars, our girls' basketball has begun. Miss Richards, who is our speech and language instructor, and Ms. Page, one of our counselors, will be coaching our 5th and 6th grade girls this year. We're very excited to cheer on our Hornets to some victories. South Grove is also going to be opening 2 additional clubs to the ones that already exist starting after fall break. One is the Good News Club, and another one is the South Grove Sprouts, so it's a gardening club. Those will be facilitated by 2 of our paraprofessionals, so that's exciting that they came to us to ask if they could do that, and that's Ms. Amanda Harper and Mrs. Heather Daniels. We continue to incentivize kindness and strong attendance at South Grove. In fact, we're linking the food drive that we have coming up for Servant's Heart that will lead up to Thanksgiving to a pie throwing contest. The classes with the greatest average of food items per student will be invited to have front row seats to see our very own Mr. Pugh and Mr. Long get pies thrown in their handsome faces by students whose names will be selected from those classes and of students who have perfect attendance during the month of November. I suggested that we make it a fundraiser and accept credit cards, knowing that the lines would be very long. However, I was outvoted 2-1. Unfortunately, our student of the month is not here, but accolades certainly are earned by Robert Eccles, one of our 5th grade students and a student of our wonderful Ms. Tammy Truman and Mrs. Patty Wilson. Robert is one of those exemplary students, as our students of the month generally are, but I'm going to read to you what his teachers have to say about him. Robert definitely supports the concept of being a happy, healthy Hornet. He is new to South Grove this year and is quickly on track to become a stellar student. He has made some great new friends and is always proactive when it comes to getting his work completed. He works diligently and often does work at home to prepare for the next day. He listens carefully when his classmates are sharing and offers comfort and support to those in need. Robert is always checking his Canvas grades to make sure he has all of his work completed and is generally the first one logged in and ready when it's time to do the hard work that 5th grade math and reading can be. Mr. Duffy, our wellness teacher, adds, Robert has been nothing but a prime example of what being an excellent student is all about. He comes to class prepared and eager to learn each and every day. He's actively engaged in open discussions, and I often see him help his classmates with their work. He's an awesome student and a leader in his classes. Mr. Money, our band and music teacher, states, Robert has been an incredible addition to the music classroom. During recorder karate, that's a thing, during recorder karate, Robert was intently focused on the lesson at hand and his progress throughout his playing tests. Even after completing his own tests, Robert still found a way to assist his classmates through their white and yellow belt tests by modeling his own performance on his recorder. Robert always has excellent writing to share during our music journaling and is very respectful when listening to his classmates share their responses. I'm excited to see all the great things that Robert will accomplish during his time as a South Grove Hornet. And last but certainly not least is Mr. Harlan, our PE teacher. There is no question Robert always has a blast in phys ed. He is always engaged and strives to be his best every second he is with us. With all the hard work Robert has been demonstrating, it has led to progress and great improvement in his motor skills. Robert is ready, respectful, and responsible in all he does. We're very proud of Robert, and he certainly epitomizes what it means to be a happy, healthy Hornet. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Fleming, and I can relate. I used to want to karate that recorder when I was in like fourth grade. I just didn't have the skill set. But I'm sure you, Mrs. Cotter, did. Were you a good recorder player?
I was terrific.
I
My daughter is playing clarinet now, so, passing on that family tradition. It's so good to be back. As Mr. Morgan stated, there really is a nice little buzz happening in the Hive here. And I think a lot of it has to do with us opening our doors again and getting back to that sense of normalcy. We've had some incredible opportunities to showcase our amazing teachers. Late August, early September, Dr. Hammock, Dr. Bear, and Miss Herman, brought the Indiana State Teachers Association President, Keith Gamble, to our school, and we got to just walk him around and showcase all of our teachers, all of the kids, and just the great things happening at Central. A couple of highlights there was that we went into some first-year teacher classrooms, and they did not miss a beat. You would expect first-year teachers to be a little nervous, anxious. They had it. They were just amazing, amazing, amazing. Mr. Gamble was also impressed. We have 8 staff members at Central that came through Beech Grove, and that's pretty incredible for our size. That's over 10%. Whether it's adult and child, paraprofessionals, or actual teachers. The 8 staff members that bleed black and orange, that's pretty exciting. Along with that, we also had our NIET partners come and tour the school. And this one was really fun as well. We had the CEO, Dr. Josh Barnett. We had the Senior Vice President, Vicki Condolari. And as I'm walking them around, I had a kid lean into me and say, Ms. Cotter, do they want to be teachers when they grow up? And I was like, yeah, they do. Absolutely. At another point, Dr. Hammock, I think we left her behind. She was chatting with the 3rd grader on the rug. They were just getting into it. She found us. She caught us up with us later. So it was great. Another opportunity that we had let someone from iReady, Curriculum Associates, which is all the data that we shared with you last week, we had someone from their team come in and tour our school. And from that, I actually had Crystal Majors, our instructional coach, give him the tour. From that, Crystal and I were invited to speak at a Great Lakes Leadership Symposium in Chicago. So we spent last week presenting to those people, and it was absolutely incredible. So we were working with people from Illinois, Michigan, Wisconsin, all the Great Lakes states, and they knew about Beech Grove, and they heard great things from Dr. Hammock. Dr. Bear's name was brought up. It was just really incredible to showcase our schools and get to learn from others as well. So that was pretty cool. Again, as we reopen those doors, we're looking forward to more opportunities to bring in guests to work with the kids. We had Barn Hill Animal Preserve come in, which is always fun. We did that back in 2019. They had an armadillo, they had an owl, just lots of fun stuff. Today we wrapped up our 4th and final celebration of Grandparents' Day, and it was really incredible the compliments that we were getting. Several of those people have kids in middle school now that they missed out on Grandparents' Day is because of COVID. So it was really fun to open our doors and have that happen again. We also have going on this week the Scholastic Book Fair. If you recall last year, we had breaking numbers in our sales. They actually sent us more inventory this year, and it's flying off the shelves. So hopefully we have some good numbers again. That e-wallet really seems to help. It's like a little credit card for kids, and hey, it's working out. So, and we had a lot of grandparents that were sliding cash to the office. So that's really awesome too. May have been on purpose, the timing, I don't know. So we're looking forward to wrapping that up. After fall break, we will be doing Red Ribbon Week, which, as you know, I love a good spirited week. So we will have some fun dress-up days coming up after fall break when we return to school. And I think that's about it for Central. Without further ado, let's have Miss Sophia George. Come on up. Come on, Sophia.
She cute. Oh my gosh. Love her glasses. Oh, shit.
So this
Yeah. I feel like I know that.
is Sophia George. She is the daughter of Billy and Samantha George, and she's the youngest of 3 children and the only girl. We've had the pleasure at Central of having both of Sophia's brothers come through, and she's going to be our last George kiddo to come through Central. So this is fun to celebrate her. Today I got to speak with Sophia, and I asked her what she most likes about Central. She said that her teachers are so nice. So I said, well, what do you mean? And she said, well, like all the time. Well, they help us learn, and they're always kind, and if you want to know something, they always answer questions. Then I went on to ask her what her favorite subjects are, and she said math and music. And then she giggled and talked about how much she likes singing, especially when it's to annoy her brothers. Which is always fun, right? That's what you have to do as the youngest. Sophia's teachers had wonderful things to share about her as well. Mrs. Doty said, Sophia is such a happy girl and is always ready for a hug. She brightens my day when I see her. Sophia's love for learning shows in the effort she puts forth each day. Mrs. Heron, Sophia's reading teacher, said, Sophia is a joy to have in class. It is clear that she wants to learn each day. I can always rely on her to give her best effort and persevere when things get tough. Sophia's independence and willingness to advocate for herself will serve her well as she continues to grow. I am so proud of the work and growth Sophie, I didn't know that was you, has already shown this year and cannot wait to see how she continues to progress. Mrs. Marshall shared that Sophia is incredibly enthusiastic about learning and helping others around her. She is a great friend and ensures all feel welcome and included. She is willing to lend a helping hand and works well with others. I love when Sophia gets off the bus and compliments my shoes. That's one of my favorite things. She's going to be a fashionista when she grows up. I can't wait. As you can see, she's such a joy to be around. She's incredibly bubbly, has a wonderful personality, always gives her best effort, and genuinely enjoys school. We are incredibly proud of you, Sophia. Let's give her a round of applause.
She's cute. Thank you, Ms. Cotter, and congratulations, Sophia. Our last building, we have 2 more things to celebrate tonight. We have a building and an athlete of the month, but our final building is Hornet Park, and this is Provis.
Awesome. Hey, everyone. Good evening. I'm Erin Probus, the principal at Hornet Park Elementary, and I'm glad to see everybody tonight. In regards to a board report for Hornet Park, I want to start off just with some excitement we're trying to generate, and we are generating around attendance. Understandably so, COVID attendance rates were, dismal, and we expected to kind of just bounce back last year. And to be totally transparent, attendance rates last year were super discouraging. If students aren't at school or they're not there on time, they don't get to enjoy all of the experiences and all the educational opportunities. So we're really trying to relight the fire of making attendance a priority. And so Tanya Reed, Amy Parker, and Missy Keeley have really championed the topic of student attendance. They meet every week. They're doing home visits, calls, really, instead of a punitive approach, trying to encourage and motivate families to attend. It's interesting with a K-1, a pre-K, K-1 building, that it is really an adult issue, right, of like trying to help motivate families to have their children at school. But we also want to celebrate kiddos who are there every day and on time. So some things they've done recently. For the month of September, we had 92 Hornets that had perfect attendance. That's pretty good. So we put all those 92 stars in a pot, and we drew out several names that got to visit the book vending machine. Yeah. Then we took all of students that collectively to this point have perfect attendance. So 41 students still have perfect attendance for this school year so far, which is pretty good. And so we were able to select more winners for our book vending machine. And then we did a classroom challenge, not for a pie in the face, but that would have been really great. What we were doing is for every classroom, we calculated attendance percentage each day. And the class in each grade level with the highest percentage earned a popsicle on the wall outside of their classroom. And at the end of the challenge, the class from each grade level with the most received, you guessed it, a popsicle party. So congratulations to a big tie in the preschool between Miss Castetter and Mrs. Dom. Then Miss Pearson's class in kindergarten and Mrs. Mazur's class in first grade. So again, just trying to have a really a wraparound approach to encouraging kids and their families to make sure attendance is a priority. In regards to other things taking place at Hornet Park, we want to celebrate the event that we had, maybe was it last week? It seems so far away, but we had the daddy-daughter or special guest dance. And like Mrs. Cotter was saying, just being able to have families back in and do some of these fun events, Mr. Carr was sharing as well, it's a delight to have families back in. And so we had a huge turnout, and we were so pleased to have folks in. So thank you to the community for supporting those. This week, as with all of our peers, is a big week. We have parent-teacher conferences going on each evening, so a big thank you to all of our staff, all of our families for making those happen. We offered families the option of in-person or virtual because everyone seems to have a preference. And so those are taking place now. Data dashboards that Hornet Park uses are in place of a traditional report card. It gives really detailed information about each child's abilities, very skill specific. So in regards to capital letters, what letters have they mastered, what have they not? So parents get a really good outline of where their child's performing and what next steps they can address academically. And then it's Safari Week. So we have a different theme each week, and it is kind of a wild place to be. But on Friday, we have Silly Safari coming to celebrate the end of this first term. Before we are together again, we will have our grandparents' celebrations. So those will be on November 2nd and 3rd in the evenings from 6 to 7. So we look forward to having grandparents in. And we also scheduled a book fair because that's a good move. That's a good move. So I want to wish everyone a wonderful fall break. But the most wonderful thing about this fall is to celebrate our Student of the Month. It's a treat for you, board and visitors, to invite Georgia Garrigus up, our Student of the Month. She's been so patient. I'm so proud of you. All right, I have several things your teachers have shared. The first one makes me giggle. Mrs. Peralt shared, Georgia is the sweetest, and she's such a big helper. She enjoys making everyone laugh by telling them, guess what? And then when you say what, I can't believe I'm going to say it. She says, chicken butt, and then snickers. We love that sweet girl. From Mrs. Stoltz, she says, yay, I love her. Georgia is such a great model in speech. She's kind and encouraging with her peers. She even helps me remember to use a visual with another friend in her group to help him focus. Mrs. Reed says Georgia is a true role model for our other Hornet Park students. She always has a smile on her face, just like what we want all of our little Hornets to be. Miss Carney, our music teacher, shares that sweet Georgia is always ready to learn, that in music class, Miss Carney plays the piano for our question of the week. On the carpet, the students sit, and the carpet has piano keys on it, and Georgia plays the same notes on the carpet every time Miss Carney plays her piano. Mrs. Keeley shared that she's getting to know her this year in their group. She's absolutely delightful. Her personality shows in her eyes and radiates in her smile. She has a great sense of humor and is kind to everyone around her. And from Mrs. Hemick, she says, "Ooh, that sweet Georgia Garrigus, I just adore her." Georgia is a shining daily example of our September character words of respect and responsibility. She's a natural leader in our classroom, displaying a positive and cheerful attitude and hardworking spirit. Georgia is a friend to all and quick to include others. She ensures everyone feels a part of our school community in such a warm and caring way that is especially unique for a young first grader. I feel so honored to have Georgia in my classroom this year, and Georgia, we feel so honored to have you at Hornet Park. Congratulations to our September Student of the Month.
Thank you, Mrs. Provis, and congratulations, Georgia. Our next recognition, as many of you know, extracurricular activities are a big part of any high school. So part of being a great student is also athletic piece. So we have a student athlete that we'd like to recognize tonight. I believe Mr. Rim will be presenting that, one of our team members in the athletic department.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Joe Rim, the Assistant Athletic Director here at the high school. So I actually have the privilege of handing out the first Alford Insurance Student Athlete of the Month at the high school. This individual, Alex Johnson. What Coach Raker mentioned about Alex is he's a great leader as he takes on his senior season at cross country. For a team that has a lot of newcomers, he leads by example every day. His work ethic puts him in a place where he's doing some of his best running. His attitude, dedication, leadership has earned him this award. And also, this Saturday will be the last time that you might get to see Alex run at high school. Hopefully not.
Yeah.
In sectionals at Mount Vernon at 10:30.
Yeah.
So come out and support Alex.
Thank you, Mr. Rim, and congratulations, Alex.
And it's kind of a big
Yeah.
deal, Alex. This is the first award that's ever been given
Right.
for Athlete Student of the Month. So you will forever be our first. Yes, congratulations. Yeah, it's a big deal.
All right, as we promised,
He's got it all
Mrs.
going
Garman
on,
is
yeah.
here with some pictures. So,
Why
all
didn't
yours.
you wear your crown? Because you're also homecoming kid. Oh, my word, we need to work on that. He was disappointed. We need to keep him up. Sorry. I know it doesn't. Okay, get a crown.
Okay, the next, Dr. Bear, do you want to talk about curriculum? You want to wait until after, well, we don't have anybody here for public comment, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so then, Dr. Bear, you are next.
And I stole the party last time, so I just got a short update, but just want to celebrate kind of the multi-language learners. We're up to 144 students district-wide. We have students that speak Spanish, Punjabi, Burmese, Swahili, Dari, and Persian, along with English. So Punjabi, that's the Burmese, kind of one of the Burmese groupings, one of the different dialects of that. Yes, I can. Right, so just shows the diversity of students that we have. And at our last parent night, we had over 70 parents and kids show up. So Mrs. Bass was very excited about that. We had a great an outcome. And we have, she wanted me to share with some of the other opportunities. There's a calendar down below. And just be honored to invite you to come to those. The next presentation is at the middle school, and Janae Sutton, our art teacher, is going to have an activity for all the families on celebrating the Day of the Dead. I'm sorry?
That's a different Day of the Dead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All
it's
right.
going to be at the middle,
Celebration.
at the middle school.
Sorry.
So that's on the calendar next. So we're excited to have it hosted at the middle school this time. And if you know Mrs. Sutton, you know that she'll put on a fabulous activity for those families. So again, the link is at the bottom of that announcement. So if you want to click on that, add any of those to your calendar, I know that those people would love to see you there, and you can see all the great things going on with our multi-language learners. So that's kind of it. As I said, I kind of stole the thunder of last week's meeting, so we'll hand it off and move on. But
Okay. Mitzi? Hang on. Okay. I don't need to go through and read everything. But I do want to point out that on the website, one of the things that I think we're going to like the most, the navigation, Allison Steele is working on that for us, and the navigation looks great on the backside of it. So if you're looking at it now, you're not going to be overly impressed. There's some things that are changed, but one of my favorite things that she's doing, that what we've talked about, is at the top when you get on the website, it's going to say, and I believe I got the top, but it's going to have a place, students, families, employees. So we can very clearly know where we're going. We're going to have an alumni page too. So they're just, and then one of my favorite things is why Beech Grove? Why? And there's a whole, and it's going to take you, and it's not just going to take you to colored underlined line. It should take you to a lot of great, gritty detail, like top 10 reasons why Beech Grove, with visuals and why come. And one of my favorite things, and it's kind of mentioned on here, the video that was, not that I did not create, when I walked around and bruised my toes on an 8-hour day, but the CIESC has produced a really nice professional production that involved, It's not out yet.
no, they sent me today one more thing just to make sure that we liked the little graphic that came, because I sent the brand board and I gave them some of that, a little bit. But it's real, I think we've seen it, I think it's really good. And it's just one video each year. We'll feature other schools each year, but the piece needs to be pushed out as much as we can. And we have some ideas on that with some IP addresses, Google Analytics that I don't completely understand, but if we can get some things out in November, would really help with some of the recruitment, after Christmas. And then our big push is March to July. But there's just some really neat things visually that are coming that are much better than anything that I could ever do. But I think it'll be ready this week, maybe beginning, but then with fall break, I don't think that's good timing. I think we'll wait and push it out afterwards, because a lot of people are just kind of shooting on that down. Then one of the things I did put on here, it says the alumni version will get done the Friday before fall break.
I did that, I sent that out actually on last Friday to coincide with homecoming. What I think was neat, and Stephanie alluded to that, she had 8 staff members. We had 60, and that includes those of you on the board that had also attended Beech Grove. And so it was about 20%. I think it was like 18 point, I mean, I'm going to obviously round up to make it. Brian always says I round up, he rounds down. It's just how we do things. But I'm a little more Pollyanna about these things, so I said 20%. But great feedback, and I think it was interesting, those that chose not to participate, like some of the teachers are like, oh, well, can you add me, or can we do it next year and we can add it? So I think it'll be really neat. Then if you ever want to look at the analytics, sometimes I can data geek out all day on the Facebook from where we were June 6th to July 3rd. And then I did some percentages. We're up, what the biggest one is engagement. We're up 208.7% of people clicking, making comments. And what I loved about that, if I get every comment sent to me on my phone, I'm telling you, we are getting very, very, very few negative comments. And what I love about this community is there are people that I've realized, well, I don't argue anyway with most people, but what I've realized is people comment, I don't need to. I wouldn't do it anyway on a public forum, but the community members are doing it. And it's very, very few negatives. As a matter of fact, and no one unfollowed us in the last 3 months too. And the last thing that I really like is the analytics where this is hitting. It's besides the countries. We're Mooresville, Carmel, Fishers, Greenfield, and it will tell you. So we're getting out there, and the stories are getting told. I know I'm not telling all the stories because it's a lot, but I love now that teachers are reaching out to show me was math problems that they're proud of, right? It's just a daily thing, and I think that's really cool. So.
See, I know, I'm on Instagram, that's really the only social media platform that I'm on, and what I've really appreciated is when I take the time to open it up, Beech Grove is always one of the very first things on my feed as I'm scrolling, and the fact that any person that has a child of any school age, pre-K through 12, can open the Beech Grove site and see themselves in those pictures. I mean, it's all the grade levels, it's all the interest groups, it's diverse, it's positive. All those kids seem happy and engaged and involved, and even if there's puzzlement on their faces, they're working through something. I mean, really, anybody that has kids could open up and instantly relate to those kids and what they're going through. And I see it several times a day. It's just not Saturday seeing the Friday night football game or things like that. It's truly the classrooms and the things that are going on, and I really appreciate that.
Well, thank you. That's a big to the principals and the teachers, because I can't be at 5 places at once, and I never want to bother them like I need it. And I think they're really feeling more comfortable. They're being maybe more proud of themselves and seeing maybe what they do does matter. And I think that's neat.
Well, then if you could share with your teachers then how nice it is to open those up and see every day just the kids engaged and involved and excited. And I as a parent, I appreciate that. You know, it's sort of like when you send your kid to zoo camp and they post zoo camp throughout the day. It's a similar sort of thing. You're seeing your kid engaged and excited and learning. And it's a very nice thing to see. So
and Jill, what I appreciate about you really were one of the catalysts on that Instagram, because I think the day you and I talked about it, I had just started it.
Right.
Maybe 2 days.
Yeah, because you just.
I had just started it, and I didn't have any followers, and you're like, no, you do Instagram, and I thought, I really need to make sure and so, I appreciate your stance on that too. So then I was like, oh, we need to get.
And it's got like 200 and some
I know.
followers.
Yeah. And I haven't, knock on wood, that's been incredibly positive. You don't interact as much on Instagram.
Right, but it's nice that especially when I have older people walk into the library and they say, what are those kids doing? What's going on? I'm not hearing stuff. I open my phone and I'm like, look at these kids.
Yeah.
Look at these kids. This is the science project that they're doing over in the middle school right now. This was just posted. Oh, look at this. This is the elementary school kids, and this is the pre-K kids, and that's brand new. And that's a demographic that doesn't necessarily always
understand what's actively going on in the schools, but I can show them without the interaction of the Facebook. You know, it's just the pictures, it's just the smiles, it's just their hands-on. And they can say, oh, wow, I never even thought, or I never realized that they were doing that. And it's a nice way to share that.
Well, thank you. And the genuine smiles from those kids, aren't they sweet?
They are.
I know. Some of those kids, somehow, I feel like every time I do walk into Hornet Park, I walk past the same STEAM class, the exact same kids, and I gotta stop. It's that same, because it's that window, and they're just smiling at me. I'm like, I want to build Legos. It's pretty sweet.
The other thing, I love the stun stuff. Because, I mean, it's nice for a teacher and administrator or, you know, support staff to get recognized. But the way those kids are so proud when their teacher wins, or, you know, like Mr. Mann today getting stung, how proud his peers were to have him be celebrated like that. It's really nice to see. It's great seeing you all get excited, but it's really, I feel a sense of community in the schools that I don't think we've felt as strongly as we have these last like 18 months. So I enjoy being able to see that regularly.
Join us for a snake, Jill.
I will. I might.
It's our favorite part of the week.
It's fun. Yeah, it's fun. Thank you. It is fun. Yeah. Oh, sorry. That was it. Jill, I just kept
Thanks for saying that, Jill.
Yes.
Brian, how about community relations?
So last month, I reported that we had all our certified staff positions filled. And then you may have noticed that, and we were celebrating our filling of a special ed position at South Grove. You may have noticed that the person who accepted that position, who accepted their resignation today. So they had a change of heart, which was disappointing. But fortunately, Gina's had another great candidate who hadn't accepted the position yet. So that was really fortunate for us. So we are currently all full of certified teaching positions, which I know that there's school corporations all across the state that can't say that. It's a very challenging time to fill these positions, so feel really good that we're there right at the moment. I did want to just talk a little bit about the athlete of the month, and just say publicly thanks to Nick and Steph Alford for sponsoring that award. One of the things I noticed at the very first board meeting I attended in April was I was so impressed with the board's, I guess, just desire to celebrate kids at the meetings. I just thought that was the neatest thing. And as a former athletic director many years ago at the high school level, and one of my things I get every month is to meet with Garrett and Michael and help them a little bit, be the conduit between the central office and athletics. I asked them about would they be interested in doing something to celebrate the student athletes, because I kept seeing all these things come across with kids who were doing great things, and I was really impressed with all of the sportsmanship awards that we were getting in athletics. I mean, our kids are not just achieving on the playing fields, but they're doing it in a way that we would want them to do and represents our community very well. So they were on board with that, and so I think it's really a nice way to kind of expand our recognition of kids. We can never recognize our kids enough, and I just appreciate the fact that the board is so interested in doing that in this forum. So I think it'll be a neat award that middle school's going to join in that too. And Steph and Nick I just asked Steph, do you have any ideas on some local businesses? And she instantly said, we would love to sponsor this. So it's been nice. The kids get a nice plaque, and they also give them a gift card, several gift cards. So also, just real quickly, the CEP that we talked about at the last board meeting, that application for food service is in. We submitted that application. It's going to be a couple weeks for the state to verify all of our data. But just as a reminder, it's a 4-year commitment. It would allow us to feed all of our kids breakfast and lunch for free. We feel like we will be at about a break even with that if we're doing some calculations and some math. The nice thing is that if our numbers of direct served kids goes up, then we benefit from that. If it goes down for 4 years, we do not have a penalty for that. So that stays consistent. And anytime, any year we can get out by June of the following year. So we don't have to stay in it for 4 years if we somehow decided that we didn't want to do this. So it's really a win-win for our families and our community, and the ability for us to be able to feed our our kids, all of our kids, for free would be wonderful. So hopefully we'll get that data back next week.
How long has the state been doing that?
That's a really good question. I've not lived in that food service world for very long.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So I don't know the answer. I don't think real long, because it's not been I think it's just really something as a byproduct of the COVID and all of that, and they extended this, and it's designed for kind of high poverty communities or school corporations, and the threshold is kind of 55% is where the break even is, and we're like at 54.8. So we really feel like when you calculate in, the ones we have difficulties collecting from anyway, that we will really be ahead in the long run and be able to provide this to our families.
Are there any other corporations?
Yeah, Perry, I think Wayne's doing it. There's several in the area. Yeah, in the area. IPS.
Skip this like 20 years ago.
It used to be, the standard was a very high poverty threshold. I want to say it was 90% at one point. And so if you were up and over, then it was universal free for breakfast and lunch. With the CEP indications that Mr. Garman reviewed, when we looked at it from that lens of, number one, the benefit that our students had when all students were able to access universal breakfast and lunch, and the burden that was removed from the shoulders of our food service employees as a result, right, because of just that transaction at the point of sale. Mr. Garman really did the math, and when you look at particularly the dollars that we lose on the table for paid families that don't pay, that when you kind of washed it all together, it just ended up that we expect that we will not have any kind of deficit to our food service fund by doing this. So it's just a very unique way to go about what we were able to receive during the pandemic. But to be very clear, this program is not the same program that was afforded to districts during the pandemic. This is a separate, specific program, federally funded, managed by the states, that we qualify for. And we thought it would be important for our community to see if we can
And the
apply.
administrative costs will be less because you don't have to track. I mean, everybody's just free. So I've already talked with Chartwells, and we feel like we're going to need to live in this world for just a little while, but we should be able to ultimately eliminate a position, not somebody who's currently in a position, but we have so many that we can't fill anyway. And so thinking about sort of reallocating the resources we have and then not worrying about filling a position should also be a savings down the road.
Appreciate your work on that.
Could that start at some point this year?
Yeah, it'll start. It should start this year. So I talked to the IDOE. They're probably about a week and a half from certifying the data that we presented to them or submitted to them, and then the federal government will be kind of at their mercy to when we can get started. But hopefully it's pretty soon. It'd be nice if it would be definitely before Christmas would be great. You're kind of at their mercy at the moment.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
Dr. Hammock, Superintendent update.
You bet. So we do have our employment recommendations normally offered by Mr. Garman, but I think we misplaced that approval, so I'll do it. We'll just ask for your approval of the employment recommendations listed with the salaries within our parameters of our approved salary schedules.
I move to approve the employment recommendations. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
And next up, so you'll recall that last month we held our first step of the budget process, and tonight we do have the second and final step of the budget process. So first off, before we ask for your approval of the resolutions that are listed, we do need the board to act officially to approve the 2023 budget for all funds as presented at the budget hearing on September the 13th, 2022. And would just ask for your formal approval of that budget, and then we'll go to the formal approval of the resolution.
Motion.
Beth, was that you for second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. And then we need a motion to approve the following resolutions. Do you need to read that?
So wonderfully, we do not need to ask for a resolution of approval for each one, but
Okay.
it's probably appropriate that if you wouldn't mind to read each resolution
Sure.
that the board will be approving.
So we have a resolution to adopt a school bus replacement plan for 2023 through 2027. A resolution to adopt a capital projects fund plan for 2023, 2024, and 2025. Present year budget reduction resolution, transfer resolution, resolution to transfer amounts from the education fund to the operations fund, and an ordinance or resolution for appropriations and tax rates. Who'd like to make a motion to approve those resolutions?
I move to approve.
Jill? Beth? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. And do you need anything else, Dr. Hammack? And Julie, would you like to talk
I
a little
will
bit
get,
about finance?
I didn't have the end of the September month balances for you for the funds because the bank statement's not done yet. But as soon as I get those, I can email them to you. But other than the budget, I didn't have any other updates.
Okay. Mr. Gearhart's not here this evening. Do we have an ops update?
Did we vote on that one? 2023 budget, resolutions?
Yeah.
Did we vote?
Jill and Beth.
Did we vote?
Yeah.
All in favor?
Yeah.
Sorry, okay.
Already did that.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Missed it.
We're good to go.
Thank you. All righty. Moving on, yes, operations, I'm more than happy to take over for Mr. Gerhardt tonight.
We didn't vote on the resolution, the list of resolutions.
Yes, we did.
Just a call for a vote. I didn't have
Jill and Beth.
We moved to approve it, but we did not vote.
We did not do what?
You didn't vote. You didn't say all in favor.
I did. I did.
I don't believe Eileen has who.
No, I have Jill and Beth.
And I said all in
Okay.
favor, and everybody said aye. And then I said opposed, and no one answered, so we're good.
Thank you.
Good, good.
So for the operations update, Mr. Gerhardt unfortunately not feeling well tonight, so you're stuck with me. We are very pleased to share that Moisture Management and AAA Roofing will be installing the replacement roof over the original section of Hornet Park. You'll recall that this was originally slated for the first 2 weeks of summer. However, the community center parking lot project just, we couldn't do that roof replacement at the same time as the community center parking lot. So actually, AAA was quite pleased with the timing. It worked out better for them, and this will be a great sort of final step in that Hornet Park project. This is a hot build-up roof. No idea what that means, but it sure sounds secure and tight and all that. So we're excited for the roofing to be installed soon. Tremco, that is our group that we really do believe we have a lot of faith in Tremco. They have been reassessing all of our roof decks to give us a timeline for replacement for a very long-term strategy. Y'all remember we want to be able to present to you at some point long-term capital projects plans that will be inclusive of roof renewals on a very long-term basis. So we could be able to look out 20, 25 years and know when roofs are going to be replaced on a timeline. And he is doing that right now, preparing for us the nearest 5-year plan for our roof replacement. We had a really wonderful event on Saturday. I just want to thank Misty Mack, our Director of Transportation, and her team. They had a really cool idea to host a Drive a Bus recruitment fair. And so we had 2 school buses go over to the front in the parking lot of the high school, and we received approval from our liability insurance carrier to allow regular citizens to drive the bus to realize it's not that. I mean, it is a huge responsibility, but that it's not maybe as scary as what some folks might have thought. And we had great feedback, incredible attendance, and we really expect that we will have 1 or if not 2 folks that will be hired just as a result of that event. So I just can't thank them enough. They gave up their Saturday to do this, and still though, We want to make sure that we have the number of folks that we need in that department to be able to run safely and efficiently. And Misty and all of her team members have been just burning the midnight oil to make sure that we have school every day. And things like this are making a difference. Hornet Park, so this was a really exciting step. The final 2 room renovations were completed. So you'll recall we were taking 2 classrooms and swapping them out. Really awful for those educators, but we didn't hear one complaint, at least I didn't, Mrs. Provost, I'm sure you did, which just shows how incredible your educators have been throughout all of that. The last 2 teachers were moved back into their rooms on the 29th of September. Our exterior doors, which has been, the piece that has been some heartburn for the start of the year, and our fob access points have been installed. The final interior work for the connector hallway should be completed within 3 weeks. Site lighting installed on the 3rd. The playground contractor, we can't wait to see that playground. That is happening, right? I mean, it's amazing. Couple 3 weeks until we'll get that playground installed. And then there was a risk management walkthrough of Hornet Park with our insurance carrier, that's Liberty Mutual, and that happened on the 27th. Mr. Gerhardt has represented us extremely well in Dr. Keeley's footsteps at the MEGA meeting. MEGA is the cooperative that Beech Grove City Schools has engaged with to hedge on gas prices, and we have really won this year. When other school districts have been seeing rising costs with natural gas, we had a locked-in price because of this work, and this was actually locked in 3 years ago. So we never could have forecasted what, kind of this fluctuation in gas prices, but because we were as low as we are locked into that rate. Now, once that expires, this is a whole new hedge sort of scenario, but we really believe in this group, and my goodness, it certainly worked out for us over the last year. And really excited to share with you all. Kevin Kinder is a name I'm sure you're familiar with. He's been an employee of the Beech Grove City Schools Transportation Department for a very long time. He left us for a minute to go to the private sector, but he is now back. We blended the mechanic and the route coordinator position, and we are calling it the route and fleet coordinator. And Kevin is going to, upon your approval, fill that role for us, and we couldn't be happier about that. And that is a savings to the district by blending 2 positions together. And so that's what Mr. Gerhardt had to share. Can I answer any questions?
He's been a busy bee.
Yeah. By the way, concessions, both sides are rolling. Though if you've been out to those sites, they really have had some momentum. I think once we've been able to pull some employees off of the Hornet Park project, they've been allocated over at the concession site.
Exciting.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we need a motion to approve the minutes of the September 13 meeting.
Motion.
Rob? Beth, did you say second? Yes. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? And we need a motion to approve the docket for September.
I'll move to approve the document.
Tara? Need a second?
Oh, was April?
A-
I was,
April, you made the motion?
yeah, but
I'm sorry.
One of us is fine.
So I'll have you as making the motion, and I'll have you as second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, quotes, bids, donations, and purchases. I don't think we have any, right?
Nothing tonight.
But we do have a couple fundraisers, so I want to write those, I want to put this on here. So, when Mr. Carr talked about the trunk or treat that they're having at the high school, the JV and varsity volleyball, no. Somebody is doing something for that.
That's the candle fundraiser.
That's the candle thing. JV and varsity volleyball students are going to sell 8-ounce candles for $14. And they get 25% of the money of the sales that they generate. However, yeah. And then the student council is hosting trunk or treat, right? And if you come, bring a canned food item or $1 to participate, and donated food is going to go to the local food drive. And contact Carrie Wood if you have any other questions. Anything else about that? Okay. Did I miss anything about the trunk or treat? I didn't, did I? Okay, cool. So can we get a motion to approve the fundraiser?
We get the girls' basketball has one.
We do what?
The girls' basketball team has the block.
That was passed before this, because I looked at that one too. Can we get a motion to approve the fundraiser?
I'll move to approve the fundraiser.
Jill?
I'll second.
Tara? All in favor? Opposed? Policy guidelines, I don't think, any success stories we want to talk about?
Just one date that we wanted to get on your calendar. I know we've thrown a lot of dates at you, but this is a community event that we just wanted to make sure that you did not miss. We have already issued out save the dates for our Thanksgiving dinner, but wanted to make sure that you all had definitely have this date in your phone and on your calendar. So the Thanksgiving dinner, the community Thanksgiving dinner, will be held on November the 17th. That is a Thursday night, and it is from 5 until 7 o'clock, and we are 100% traditional. No COVID restrictions. Folks will be in, student volunteers, all the fun. So really a very, very special night. We get an incredible number of people who attend. It is free for anyone who attends, and just a wonderful night of fellowship and really great food. So looking forward to that, because my goodness, after we get back from fall break, and I just wanted to pause and make mention that our prayers are with our families to ensure safe travels over the next couple of weeks. Our educators have certainly earned this break. It is incredible to reflect that as of the end of July, we have made it to the end of our first 9 weeks of this school year. And wow, have folks been working so hard and moving the needle on student achievement and performance as well. I'm very excited to share with the board at an upcoming meeting. Our Panorama survey data has also been evidencing some really positive feedback from our classified and certified staff as far as what they're feeling about their experience in this school district. So that was an indication from our board the first time that I met with you all, that you wanted to make sure that folks were feeling better about being at work and at school. And I feel like with confidence we can say that we are moving the needle. You know, we're not there, but boy, I could not be more proud of this organization.
Fabulous. So could we get a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Tara?
Second.
Rob? All in favor?
Fourth.
Opposed? Good night, everyone.
So we have one, actually, we have a public, we have a hearing. So for anyone who would like to stay, I would promise this one will be real short. If we could move right into the public meeting of you, which is the Board of School Trustees of Beech Grove City Schools. This is important and required by law, a public meeting where the board hears comment and we discuss the terms of our tentative agreement with our teacher collective bargaining agreement. Board members, you were sent the document that included the details of the tentative agreement with our Teachers Association. I wanted to just pause and thank our Beech Grove Classroom Teachers Association for the work that they have done engaging in this bargaining season. We are thrilled to be able to present to you all our tentative agreement. Tonight we're not asking for your approval. Tonight all that we do is go through the terms of the TA, and then we will ask for your ratification of this contract at the November 8 meeting. Quickly, I won't read every word here, but it's requirement that we review the terms of the agreement at tonight's meeting. We have really offered for you a different salary schedule that allows for the issue of compaction to be addressed. That has been a goal for the board, I know, for a very long time, and certainly a goal for our incredible teachers, and we are able to realize some of that work in this offering. Our new bachelor's teachers will be earning $48,000, so that's up from, we were a little over 45, and our master's teacher entry would be $51,000. We also are guaranteing every employee with a bachelor's degree will have at least $2,750 of a stipend, or $3,500 if they have a master's degree. And what is compelling is that because this is a compaction issue being addressed, some educators will realize much more than that. So it depends on where their years of experience, where they land on the current schedule. And as you can see, the placement years, that means years of experience. So if you're an educator who has 6 years of experience and you have a bachelor's degree, you would be at level C. If you're an educator with 6 years of experience and a master's degree, you would be at level C on the master's lane. The district is offering to pick up the 100% of the health insurance premium increase. So that means that these salaries, these raises that are being offered are actual raises, that they do not need to use those dollars to be able to offset their health insurance premium. We have several ECA stipends. I won't read all of the stipends, but what we're doing here with this stipend reallocation, I want our board members to understand that this is not an addition of resources to the ECA schedule. Instead, we are removing a strategy that was used for years in this district of paying extra day compensation via payroll claim. This will allow for a much more transparent ECA schedule that you all and that everyone who's employed in the district would know what these roles are earning. So no additional dollars that are going out of your pocket. It's just a different, more transparent way of those dollars being recognized. We have some language regarding the mirroring or the placement language for our new hires, so that's being updated to match our new placement schedule. And we would like to offer more days for maternity leave. So, obviously a maternity leave can be a 6-week or longer depending on the nature of the pregnancy. But we would like to offer our paid leave as moving up from 10 to 15 days. And also, we would have the removal of the term paternity leave, a little bit of a modernization here in our language to new dependent leave, because certainly some new parents or spouses are not necessarily under the umbrella of paternity. So that was a great recommendation there. Again, those other ECA changes and finishing with the addition of boys volleyball, which I thought you all would enjoy. This is a new IHSA quote emerging sport to the ECA schedule, and we would have boys volleyball in the spring. That is when IHSA is offering boys volleyball. So nice to have kind of another option for kids in the spring, and the dollar amounts listed there. We are thrilled with this. We'll go through ADM a little bit in our work session, but the dollars that we are earning with tuition support and the reductions that the board has allowed for us to make over the last year position this district to be able to present, a TA that I think you all could be very, very proud of. And again, it's with great thanks to our CTA for getting to this point, and we're thrilled that hopefully by the time we get to ratification, that everything will be approved fully by the board.
Cool. Great.
And there's also a time that if there's any public comment, but certainly don't feel like you need to. But it's so nice that we have our leadership from CTA here.
So, good evening, everyone. My name is Sheena Herman, and I'm a teacher at Beech Grove High School, as well as the president of the Beech Grove Classroom Teachers Association. Last year when I spoke to your board, during this hearing, I thanked you for bringing Dr. Hammock back to Beech Grove City Schools, where she belongs. This year, I am here tonight to thank you again, because together we have achieved the best contract that Beech Grove teachers have seen in over 20 years. In this year's bargaining, we were able to radically change our placement schedule to address inequities that have been present for many years, and to ensure that those inequities do never happen again. This could not and would not have happened with our previous administration. It took a vision and a commitment to staff and students to make that happen. And that leader is Dr. Hammock.
Oh gosh.
She is a tough negotiator, but she is a fair negotiator. And I never doubted for 1 minute her appreciation for the work that our classroom teachers put into this learning community. We are confident as classroom teachers that we will continue to thrive, and we will only move upwards when we have this type of leader paving the path forward for our district in all areas. Dr. Hammock, I speak for the classroom teachers when I say we are grateful for your leadership, your vision, and your commitment to retire here.
Oh, you're so sweet. Very kind. My goodness, unexpected. Very sweet. Thank you.
We want everybody happy.
That's right, you do. And that's, we were very clear during negotiations that the gratitude that I have for the board, that we are able to, that you all put faith in us to be able to go to the bargaining table. It means a lot. And your support, it just, we wouldn't be here without you. So thank you.
Do we need to do anything else
Now
for
we get to
this?
officially be done.
So,
Oh, you're award.
you don't,
Yeah.
we don't need to do anything else, do
No,
we?
that's it. That's, yeah.
We're good.
Yes.
Everybody good?
Yes.
Y'all happy?
Yeah.
Yay!
Okay. We have a few snacks, I think, left in the, I apologize.